the executive session, closed session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
To return, or you want to say this? To return to, okay. May I have a motion to return to open session and approve certificate of closed meeting 18-19-11 for the closed session? Did you?
So moved, yeah.
So moved?
Second.
Second, moved by Ms. Pomeroy, second by Ms. Boyd. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Ream?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Gay?
Yes.
Pomeroy?
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve our agenda and any changes?
I'd like to make a motion that we, because we have such a full agenda tonight, that if we go past 9 o'clock, that we table the agenda past the action items, so from information items on to the next meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Boyd, second by Mr. Bailey to table the agenda if we go beyond 9 o'clock for any items after action items except for good of the order.
Correct.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Do I need to give a separate motion to approve the agenda, or are you okay, Ms. Wright?
Let's have a second one, just.
Okay, just to be safe.
Approve the agenda
Okay.
as amended.
Yes, may I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Ms. Pomeroy. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 4, 2019 regular school board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Boyd, second by Ms. Ream. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Ayes have it. Now we come to our favorite part of the meeting, recognitions. The Winter Sports Awards ceremony will not be a part of the agenda, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Also, the Optimist student of the month.
And the Optimist Student of the Month will not be a part of the agenda as well. There's a banquet. Yes.
Good evening, Chairperson Kay, Dr. Melton, board members, family, friends, and guests. It's my honor to introduce Mrs. Casey Wilgang and her students from Walker Grant Middle School, who will present the word of the month, caring.
Good evening. This is Sophia Pineda. She's a member of our class. And so we wanted to present this video that the students brainstormed and developed about what they feel caring is. A caring person is someone who
C, connects with others.
A, accept you for who you are. R, respectful. I, impudent. And nice.
G, generous.
All right. Thank you.
And then we had a special gift for you all.
Sophia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Good evening, Chairperson Kay, board members, Dr. Melton, friends and families. It's my pleasure to recognize the winners of our Black History Art and Essay Contest. We started this contest probably about 5 years ago as part of our annual African American Assembly, and it's just grown and been wonderful. I'll begin with kindergarten, and we have a kindergarten winner in the art department. Her artwork was Harriet Tubman, and that is Celestine Nagy. And Celestine is the daughter of Mr. Edward Nagy and Ms. Leah Nagy. Celestine is in Ms. Kaufman's class. Is Celestine, there she is. Come on up, Celestine. And if you want to see the artwork and essay, just come on over to Hugh Mercer. You can get on up there. She is adorable. Good job, Celestine. Our first grade winner in the art department is Bessie Coleman, or excuse me, her artwork was Bessie Coleman. It is Tanisha Savage. Tanisha is the daughter of Ms. Pittman, and Tanisha is in Ms. Trebley's class. There's Tanisha. Good job. Oh, and I like the hat. There we go. Big smile for Mom. There. Good job. Thank you. Our second grade winner in the art department is Elam Ahmad, and his artwork was Jackie Robinson. Elam is the son of Mr. Hamayan Azini and Ms. Medina Azini. And Elam's teacher is Ms. Wilson. Is Elam here? Here he comes. Elham. One for Mom. Very nice. Oh, he has words to say. Okay. Elham? Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. It's a special night for me because I recognize the art winner. I want to thank my mom, dad, and my school teacher, Mrs. Wilson, for their hard work with me. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. And I'll keep doing my hard work with my teacher.
That's wonderful. You've done a great job. He's done a great job. Thank you. Good job. Another second grade winner in art was Roland James, and Roland's artwork was on Langston Hughes. Roland is the son of Mr. Matthew James and Mrs. Jessica James. Is Roland here? I don't believe he's here, but let's give him a big round of applause. And our other second grade winner was for an essay on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it's Camilla Gonzalez. Camilla is the daughter of Mr. Luis Gonzalez and Mrs. Linda Hernandez, and Camilla's teacher is Ms. Moss. Is Camilla here? There she is. Come on up. No, you're fine. Big smile. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to all our winners. And again, if you want to see this great artwork and these essays, please stop by Hugh Mercer. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Matthew Terry, the principal of Lafayette Upper Elementary School. Thank you.
Good evening again. Our grade 5 scholars from across the Commonwealth are invited to participate in the Black History Writing Contest. Essays are submitted from all participating schools, and they are judged by this association. I want to say that our literacy coaches and all the teachers are really commended for their role in this assignment, because all of our grade 5 scholars composed essays this year. We then picked our best work and sent it along to be considered this year, and we were honored to learn that Lafayette was chosen, drum roll, to actually get third, second, and first place this year for the state. So we're very excited. So for this year, congratulations, special congratulations goes out to our third place winner, Jack Quinton, the son of Danny and Diane Quinton. Come on up. Our second place winner was June Jonas, the daughter of Thomas and Karen Jonas. And our first place winner, we are very proud to share Emma Hicks, the daughter of Jason T. and Kelly Hicks. Congratulations to all three of those students and our teachers as well, and our literacy coaches for their participation. Now I'd like to bring up Mr. Justin Woodside, the Walker Grant principal.
So we'll be presenting the award for the Spelling Bee Division winner for Fredericksburg City Schools, and it was an 8th grader, Mr. Justin Wade. I don't know if he is here today. No, he's not here. But his parents are Mr. and Mrs. Wade, and he will be competing in the division or the regional spelling bee on March the 16th. So we wish him luck. Thank you.
Walker Grant had 4 students selected for the all-district band performance in February. The students are taught by Mrs. Reba Ortiz. Selected for symphonic band were Emily Brown for clarinet. Emily is an 8th grader and daughter of Mr. Brian Brown and Mrs. Cynthia Brown. Tesher Bear for flute. Tesher is an 8th grade student and son of Mr. Brian Bear and Mrs. Kimberly Bear. Selected for concert band were Josephine Chu for clarinet. Josephine is an 8th grade student and daughter of Mr. James Chu and Mrs. Michelle Chu. And Zoe Hughes for flute. Zoe is an 8th grade student and daughter of Mr. Stephen Hughes and Mrs. Julie Hughes. Now for all district choir. Several students were chosen to perform at the all district choir event at Spotsylvania High School last month. These students are taught by Mrs. Barbara Powell. Selected to perform were Diana Thomas. Diana is an 8th grade student and daughter of Miss Artavia Palmer. Delphine Pomeroy. Delphine is a 7th grade student and daughter of Mr. Marcus Pomeroy and Mrs. Kathleen Pomeroy. Azadera Levi Scott. Azadera is an 8th grade student and daughter of Mr. LeBryant Scott and Mrs. Mallory Lantigua. Dominique Muggeridge. Dominique is a 7th grade student and daughter of Mr. Matthew Muggeridge and Mrs. Eve Muggeridge. Callie McLeese. Callie is an 8th grade student and daughter of Mr. Brian McLeese and Mrs. Lauren McLeese. Marissa Reed. Marissa is an 8th grade student and daughter of Mr. Victor Reed and Miss Marlene Janice. Zayshawn Mathis. Zayshawn is an 8th grade student and son of Miss Cornina Davis. Tanner Ribble. Tanner is an 8th grade student and son of Mr. Ryan Ribble and Mrs. Heidi Ribble.
Okay.
One more, I promise. That's it. Just one more. Samuel Sneed. Samuel is an 8th grade student and son of Mr. George Sneed and Mrs. Roxana Sneed. Thank you very much.
We will take a short break, very short break, before we start with the public hearing, in case anyone wanted to exit at this time. Gorgeous.
Those are my boys. Those are my boys in the Cub Scouts.
Every time I see her at Lafayette, I'm like, what the heck?
Good to see you.
Who's talking to John right now? Always has a smile on her face. Kelly always has a smile. I know, in spite of everything. I know. Okay. I mean, I wish she had made it. I mean, not that I'm saying.
Yeah, and she said all those were hearing of citizens. Okay, I'm getting ready to start up.
Hi.
Yes, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
Hello. Okay. Okay.
Nice to meet
We-
you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my six. My.
This is also our. May I have your attention, please? This is also our favorite portion of the meeting. It gives us an opportunity to hear from our citizens, which is great. The first item is public hearing. Under the public hearing, you are limited to discussing the budget only that we are proposing. And so I don't have names of anyone specific. I think all the names that I have were for hearing of citizens. But we welcome anyone who would like to speak to us regarding our operating budget at this time under the public hearing. Do we have anyone here prepared to speak on our budget? Oh. Okay. All right, moving right along. The next item would be hearing from citizens. The rules under hearing for citizens, we ask that any citizens wishing to speak, that you state your name and address for the record. We also ask that your comments be limited to 3 minutes or less, and there is a little buzzer or light that will blink to let you know that your time is winding down. And so I will call names on those who contacted us to say that you would be speaking tonight. I think the first individual is Dr. Katie Finlayson. Are you here today? Great, wonderful, welcome. So I need you to state your name and address.
Okay, my name's Katie Finlayson, 1105 Great Oaks Lane. I'm an assistant professor of geography at the University of Mary Washington and the mother of 2 boys, the oldest of whom is a first grader at Hugh Mercer Elementary. I'm not speaking today as a representative of the university or as a mom, really, but as a geographic researcher. I teach an Introduction to Quantitative Methods Statistics course at UMW. I'm not here to argue for a particular path forward, but to provide the school board with the best data and analysis possible. I had heard from numerous parents that they had concerns about Mosley's enrollment projection and how they were calculated. And so my aim was to try and replicate the models from Mosley and compare their projections with other possible models for projecting enrollment. I provided a document to the school board as well as the city council that details my analysis and wanted to highlight a few key points. K&C, a firm used by Mosley, notes that they are consistent with best practices in the field, utilizing historical trend data for live births and then projecting by grade level. They then note that their final step is to make adjustments to individual cells by hand after discussions with city officials. In actuality, this is not in line with best practices. If you read other school enrollment projection documents, of which I've read numerous over the past few weeks, a variety of metrics are used to model school enrollment, and migration is used by firms who produce customized analysis for clients. Furthermore, in every possible model I've run, I've been unable to replicate Mosley's projection numbers. And this may be because, as they say, they adjust cells by hand at the end, which would be like completing a science fair project and then changing around the results at the end of the experiment. A key problem with using the number of births as a basis for enrollment projections is that, for the city of Fredericksburg, a projection model that uses the number of births is only around 32% accurate, meaning 32% of the variation in kindergarten enrollment is explained by the number of births 5 years previously. These variables also don't have a statistically significant relationship, and so to begin with the assumption that the number of births is the most significant factor affecting kindergarten enrollment is inaccurate. If we look at the total enrollment in HUMERSR, the changes in enrollment actually correlate 94% with changes in our population. So this means that not only are students born in the city and then attend HUMERSR, but they enter the system at different grade levels due to migration. I'm not claiming to be a statistical expert or that my model should be used as the model for projecting school enrollment, but I'm confident based on commonly used statistical metrics that Mosley's model is far less accurate than other measures. I would strongly urge the school board to contact UVA's Weldon Cooper Center, which is used by the Virginia Department of Education for school enrollment projections, and get another set of enrollment projections that are more accurate and more closely match our historical changes in enrollment. Mosley claims that the recent uptick in enrollment is an anomaly and that it will decrease in the future. Based on the data I've analyzed, enrollment is going to continue to increase, and we're about to spend several $1 million on a plan that will lead us to be, once again, over capacity in just a few years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Emily Taylor, are you here tonight? Wonderful. I ask you to state your name and your address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Emily Taylor. I live at 437 Hanson Avenue. Good evening, Dr. Melton, Dr. Catlett, and the school board members. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all this evening. I am a resident of Ward 2 and a mother of 2 children, one who attends HUMERSR and the other at Lafayette Upper Elementary School. I am also a 3rd grade teacher at Lafayette. Although I am a concerned parent, I'm here to speak tonight as a concerned teacher. I urge you to add an addendum to the budget that includes building a new school instead of continuing with the facilities expansion strategy. The issue of overcrowding in our schools can't be looked at only in terms of class size, the number of classrooms in a school, or how many students a building can hold at capacity. Overcrowding also has to do with the conditions in our buses, in our hallways, the cafeteria, nurse's office, reading remediation spaces, workrooms, and counseling spaces. We need to consider spaces other than just our classrooms. And we need to consider everyone, especially our students. So I asked my class how they feel. My students told me about how they really love having 20 students in our class. And they feel like we have plenty of room inside our classroom. But then they told me about their crowded buses and how it makes them feel to sit 4 or 5 students to a seat, and how loud their buses become and how that leads to disruptive behaviors. They have told me about how crowded it is in the cafeteria at breakfast time when more and more students get off the buses and have nowhere to sit. Every teacher and staff member that I have spoken to about the possible expansion of our building has the same opinion. This is not a good idea. To give you a sense of our existing challenges that would only be made worse by the proposed expansion, the only time my class can eat lunch is at 10:40 each day. They have 25 minutes to eat. How are 300 more students going to eat lunch in this space? Our nurse is so busy she doesn't have time to take a lunch break. How will she meet the needs of 300 more students? In order to provide more reading teachers, counselors, and nurses for more students, we would need space for them as well. This addition does not plan for them. Our school board has the opportunity to do what is in the best interest for the long term to meet the needs for the growing number of students enrolling in our schools. We need to find a way to build a new school with spaces to meet all of our students' needs and enough classrooms to keep our class sizes low. Overcrowding in our schools needs to be solved in a holistic way, taking into consideration all of the variables and putting our most important citizens, our children, first. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's Quincy Click. Thank you. Please state your name and address.
My name is Quincy Chrysilius Click, and I live at 713 Little Page in the city. Good evening, board members, staff, and guests. Thank you for the budget proposal that expands teaching positions, includes a raise and increases for coverage in health insurance. Attracting high-quality teachers and playing for class sizes and collaboration will make instruction top quality. As I said, my name is Quincy, and I'm here tonight to ask you to reconsider building a new school instead of the inadequate piecemeal expansion plan. I've been proud to serve city students as a teacher at Walker Grant since 2011. I'm also a citizen and a mother of a rising Hugh Mercer kindergartner. However, I am not here to speak for him or myself, as we have been blessed with much. I'm more concerned about the parents who cannot be here tonight because they are working 2 jobs or are home with a child that needs their attention for special needs, and all the families that trust us to provide them with a high-quality education. I'm also here for the stellar professional teachers who work hard every day for our kids. That can look like teaching mini preps, teaching over the allowable load of students, leading a club or sport for free, using their own money to buy supplies to teach math concepts, or helping students not only master grade level content, but also basic phonics skills for our students reading below grade level. I'm here because I've been told for years that we would be breaking ground on a new building around 2020, and the expansion vote was an unwelcome surprise for me and many that you see here tonight. I'm also here because we're a team, and I want to hear all possible ideas and input. The current enrollment numbers are not a surprise, as we all understand growth and development in our city. If funding is the problem, then our collective lack of planning and communication is embarrassing. We are committed to educating the students of this city, but we are not willing to prop up poor communication, planning, or lack of the action by the adults with the privilege to serve. I was very encouraged by the community rally and discussion at the early February council meeting, and I hope to continue that optimism here tonight and moving forward. I know this is a complicated and nuanced matter, so I think firsthand experience is your due diligence. I invite you and council members and parents of students to visit our 10:54 a.m. lunch at Walker Grant Middle School. Students must get through the line, eat, and clean up in 26 minutes with no open socializing or recreation time, and we have already run out of tables for our lunchroom. Please consider visiting us to see firsthand if the building is adequate according to the Moseley study for a place that has not yet reached capacity. If we need other funds for our city, we need to find money for all of those things. It is uncomfortable, but the bottom line is, having witnessed the board pass the expansion plan in February, and then the council hold off on their vote later that month, I'm asking you to complete the procedures necessary to recommend funding upgrades across our division and build a new school.
Thank you. Let's see, Christina Mitchell. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Christina Mitchell, and I live at 1808 Washington Avenue. I have been a Fredericksburg resident for over a third of my life. For the past 7 years, I've sent my 4th grader to Fredericksburg City Public Schools proudly, starting in this very building, and my youngest will start kindergarten in fall 2020. Additionally, I have happily been an employee at Hugh Mercer Elementary School as a paraprofessional, and I'm working on my degree to become a teacher there. I don't come here tonight, though, as a representative of Hugh Mercer, or even as a concerned parent. Instead, I come here as an advocate for our children, all of our children. I have researched and seen firsthand the effects that overcrowding can have on our students. Here's what my research has uncovered. Overcrowding is linked to aggression and antisocial behavioral problems. There are greater behavioral adjustment problems, lower academic standings, and less socially supportive relationships formed when overcrowding occurs. Overcrowding creates missed opportunities for educators to connect with their students. Teachers have less time to plan, students have less resources, and all of these factors contribute to less innovative instruction and a lower quality of instruction. Overcrowded school teachers experience higher burnout rates and have higher absenteeism. One study of overcrowded schools in New York found that those students scored lower on math and reading exams than their counterparts in less crowded schools. Fredericksburg City Public Schools is growing rapidly, especially with their special education and ESL programs. These students require a multitude of resources to meet their needs. From the reports that the schools requested, it was recommended that we have a new building and the addition to Lafayette, not either or. Building a new school now gives our students the best chances they have at succeeding. I implore you to do what is best for our children. Overcrowding is counterproductive to building communities in our schools and to our children's success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, happy belated birthday, Dr. Catlett.
James Tankersley. Please state your name and your address.
Good evening, school board members and Dr. Melton. My name is James Tankersley. I should mention I am not related to Mrs. Marjorie Tankersley.
I was going to ask.
I've been a resident of Fredericksburg since '92. My oldest child graduated from JM in 2005. I currently have a first grader at Hugh Mercer, and my youngest will start the city schools in 2 years. I'd like to say that as parents, anybody I've spoken to wholeheartedly supports the vibrancy of our student communities at every one of our schools, thanks to the single stream education model that we currently have in the city. While much discussion has centered around the Idlewild parcel, we support building a new school anywhere in the city. I don't know, is there city available in Dixon Parkland or in Mayfield? I don't know, any place that would be appropriate, I don't know. We believe the vote on the school expansion plan should be reopened for several reasons. Although the Mosley report relied on conservative population growth models that are already outdated, the first recommendation was to build a new school. Expanding our existing school buildings is very expensive, and while adding classroom space, they do not address some of the infrastructure things that we've already heard about tonight. The lunchrooms, gymnasiums, offices, you name it. Those are not addressed in these plans. A new school accommodating 3 grades instead of 2 would be of comparable cost to the expansions, but would immediately provide nearly double the new student capacity as the expansions, relieving overcrowding issues in our existing schools for decades or forever. Each of the proposed expansions would be inadequate at the moment that they're finished, and we would still need a new school. So we'd be starting over. I think we all know that the need for a new school in Fredericksburg is not recent news. The city planning for a new school has been included in the CIP for a number of years. The 2017 CIP included funds for study and design in 2021 and construction in 2022. The most recent CIP has completely removed it and pushed it to year 20XX. I believe it's the responsibility of this board to tell the city publicly what the true needs are for our children. If you beg for breadcrumbs, you're gonna get breadcrumbs, right? Yeah. We will spend less and accomplish more if we push city council to find the money now. This board is elected to serve the needs of our children, and the job of the council is to find the money to make it happen. I can assure you that this is not an issue that will pass. This is not an issue that will go away. Both the board and the council will be held accountable by voters. We as parents ask you, as school board, to submit to the city council a revised plan that reflects not what you believe the city will approve, but what you truly believe serves the needs of our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Lindsay Dickinson. Ms. Dickinson, please state your address, your name and address.
My name is Lindsay Dickinson. I live at 703 Cornell Street. My name is Lindsay Dickinson. I am the mother of a second grade student at Hugh Mercer Elementary School and a rising kindergartner. Public education provides many unique opportunities for children to learn about a variety of topics, as well as to interact with people from a variety of backgrounds, and it can be a beautiful thing. I love hearing about my son's experiences at school each day. He recently came home talking about a new experience in which students with more significant special needs came to his classroom to play different games together. He talked about one student's smile during the games and how another student who spoke only Spanish didn't know what he was doing, so he had to have a friend come and sit with him, and they built a tower together, labeling the colors in Spanish. George loved the experience, and as his mom, I loved hearing about it. I thought to myself, this is a beautiful experience for George and his classmates, and one of the reasons why I love public education. As we all know, public education has its challenges. To me, education should not be all about the numbers. 1,000 students, 8-day special rotations, 25-minute lunch periods, 3 to a seat on the bus, no more than 22 kids to a classroom, or we lose our $350,000 grant, etc. While I know numbers are important, I don't want it to get lost that these numbers that are being crunched and budgeted directly impact our children's educational experiences. It is imperative that our children have the best learning environment possible, and every once in a while to have a beautiful experience like my son had last week. However, it is not beautiful to know that Mosley's #1 recommendation was to build a new school, yet the vote went differently, and the approved addition to Lewis is the least cost-effective option once all of the numbers are crunched. Or to know that there is available land to build a school besides the land that was set aside in Idlewild, and to not know if the research has been done to see if this land could be a viable option for our school. It is not beautiful to know that until the fiscal year of 2017-2018, a new school was in the plan to be completed by 2022. There has to be more options to come up with a solution that will create more beautiful learning opportunities for all of the students in the schools. However, the approved expansion on Toulouse is not a thoughtful solution to a problem that needs a thoughtful solution. Our children deserve better. And when I say our children, I mean all of the children of the city schools, not just the children of the parents who are in attendance tonight, but those children whose parents are not in attendance tonight as well. The parents who work 2 jobs, don't have childcare or transportation, the parents who are encouraged to not attend, and the parents who have not been made aware of their rights to be involved. The beautiful thing about the parents being here tonight and going to the city council meetings is that by speaking up about what is best for the children, we are in turn positively impacting all children's educational experiences. And that is what is most important, because in the end, we are all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you. Leah Cortinage, is that correct, Leah? Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name's Leah Courtnage. I live at 407 Fauquier Street. And that's a hard act to follow, Lindsay. You bring me to tears. I don't really have a whole lot more to say. I just wanted to introduce myself, tell you that I'm a mother of 2 boys, one in kindergarten at Hugh Mercer. And I'm concerned here with the rest of the parents of the overcrowding issue, asking that you guys would consider bringing it back to the table. And the same as everyone else has said, I'm concerned about the quality of education, not just the numbers. I'm concerned about the specials classes. They're talking about maybe even having 8 to 10 day rotation. You know, the kids cannot learn music, art. They need those as outlets, in my opinion. But I also wanted to thank you for taking the time to, you know, take our considerations and listen to us, let us have the time to comment, and for doing all the hard work. You know, we voted you in while we were home having babies and trying to take care of them. So thank you for, you know, being here for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Ann Little. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Ann Little. I live at 726 Williams Street. I'm not a parent, or I'm not even a grandparent. I don't have children, but I care very deeply about our children in the city and their education. It makes us a better city when our children are educated. I think everyone in this room recognizes what a special place Fredericksburg is, and also recognize that good schools are one of the key aspects that makes Fredericksburg special. Right now, we have grown too fast and not planned enough. We may not have had the proper planning up to this point, but I think with the overcrowding at Hugh Mercer, there has been a wake-up call for both the parents and the school administration. We are hearing from City Council there's not enough money to fund a new elementary school. As Matt noted, the CIP budget had $32 million in 2018, and poof, in 2019 it disappeared. And it was, those funds had to go to someplace. They were probably allocated to other projects, which says that those other projects were more important than our students. And that's not true. Our students are the key to our life, and every parent here feels the same way. And again, I'm not a parent, but I feel very deeply about this. Nothing is more important than our schools and our children's education. The school board voted to approve the 25-year student capacity plan. It's a flawed plan, and I would urge the school board to reject this plan and send it back to City Council. Ask for the funding we need. Council needs to raise taxes and look at everything that is in that budget and find the funds to build the new schools that is critically needed. We need to maintain our single-stream school system and find a suitable location for a new school. There is land available near Brayhead Farms, Mayfield, along the Cowan Corridor, at Celebrate, Virginia. I've been looking at maps all day, and there's tons of it. We'll stand with the school administration to demand what our children need, a new school, not a Band-Aid approach. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm just going to say next, because I don't have any other names, but we want to hear from you, and we welcome you to the mic. Okay, I see your hand in the back. Please state your name and your address.
Who am I talking to? I'm sorry. Where? Oh, it's you. Okay. Hi, I'm Wendy Atwell-Vasey. I have a PhD in education from the University of Maryland. I live at 804 Marie Street in Fredericksburg. I'm a retired professor of education at the University of Mary Washington. I have 2 sons who graduated from James Monroe High School, and 3 children totally, 4 grandchildren. And you've got a great opportunity here. I guess that's what I came to say tonight. This possibility of building a new school and the imperative of building a new school is something that we really should grab onto as a community. A number of people have talked about the problem of crowded schools. This is happening all over the country. Yes, we should have done better planning, but this is happening in school districts all over the country. We know it's happened in Arlington, Alexandria, et cetera. So we have a crowded school problem. And there are a number of solutions that people have used all over the country, including trailers and double sessions and, well, you know what they are. Expansion is really not a good solution to this problem, and you're losing an opportunity if you use it. Because one of the things that hasn't been mentioned, at least tonight, it's probably been mentioned before, is that small schools are much better than big schools. There's research going back 20, 30 years. Across the board, many studies agree. Small schools are better for lots of reasons. And the results are it's better for student achievement, which I know is very important. Student social adjustment, teacher community, relationships with parents are all more possible if you have smaller schools. And when you're looking at the future, you want to think about what's happening to a place like Fredericksburg. It's a very diverse place, but it's also a very collegial place. There's a great community here. And this school, someone said, is the center of our community. You look at the research, and I looked at, I think it was, somebody sent me some facts about the costs of things. There's a little bit of differential in the costs of expanding all these schools and building a new school. It's just not that much. I mean, you're really losing an opportunity if you don't do this. Thanks.
Thank you. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is John Gerlach. I live at 809 Charlotte Street. I wasn't planning to speak tonight, but I am struck by the sincerity and the deeply held beliefs that we have heard tonight. And I just wanted to stand up and thank you, the school board members, for your service. I know you're all committed to education. That's why you serve. And we're glad to have you. I think what we see here tonight is a grassroots effort that exists in Fredericksburg regarding the building of a new school and a willingness to pay higher property taxes, which is unusual. But as we go forward, I hope you recognize this for what it is. It's a wave, and I hope you catch the wave. Go to City Council, change your request, ask for more money. You need it, and the public will support you in that endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, anyone else? State your name and address.
Good evening. I'm Katie Furrow. I live at 1705 Beverly Lane. I'm here this evening. Good evening to the board and all of the staff that's here, our beloved teachers, and all of our families and guests that are here. I'm here on behalf not only as a parent here in the community. I have a first grader at Hugh Mercer, I have a fourth grader at Lafayette, and I have 2 students that are in 6th grade at Walker Grant. I'm also here on behalf of actually being staff in the city. I am a school nurse sub, one of only 3 nurses in the district that support our staff nurses. I have an ICU, an occupational health, and an elementary and phone triage background. That experience has served me very well here in our school community. Though truly I took this position because I absolutely love our school students, and I thoroughly enjoy getting to know my girls' classmates. I love building human connections, especially with children. I have also served on a district-wide homework committee in 2016 and have been a member of Mr. Terry's parent advisory committee for the last 3 years. I've also volunteered in numerous capacities. In the 7 years our girls have been in the school system. I can only provide my narrow snapshot of our current situation, but I will contend is a unique one. While I agree with many of the speakers tonight, I am first and foremost a parent, and I would like to focus my time briefly tonight, not as a parent, but as the school nurse. We primarily go to school to learn. However, under the proposed current Lafayette plan, the nurse at Lafayette will increase by over 300 people that she will have to care for. That includes staff and students. She already cares for a staff and student load of over 900. As I understand, the current floor plan proposal makes no amendment to increase the size or improve the function of the current clinic, nor does it necessarily improve the number of staff. That is not to speak the need in the budget for that nurse or aide that is going to grow past 1,000 students, which the current recommendation by the state of Virginia since 1999 states more than one person per staff over 1,000. The second staff member currently at Hugh Mercer may not be able to move to Lafayette if VPI goes back to Old Walker Grant, which I support, as their day lengthens and their student numbers there increase. So both amendments for an increase in space and staff are needed in the current Lafayette plan, aside of adequate lack of classroom space for current enrollment and many other concerns that parents here have stated tonight. Many of us remember our school nurses often being part-time so they could serve many schools, handling lost teeth, bloody noses, playground bumps and bruises, handing out Band-Aids and Vaseline, sometimes the occasional needed hug on a rough day, and thankfully, a rare emergency. We may have had a student who was diabetic or certainly few with asthma. By and large, there were more consistency throughout their day, though, and very few changes in enrollment throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? I speak for the board when I say with sincerity that we're so appreciative of you coming out tonight. We needed to hear from you. We have a lot of work to do. There's a budget, there's talk about expansion, and just know that we heard everything you say. We don't comment during public hearing or hearing of citizens, but the board does listen. And we're glad you were here tonight, and thank you so very much. Okay? At this time, I will call the hearing of citizens closed. Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And Dr. Melton, do we have anything on the consent?
No consent agenda items to come before the board this evening.
Okay. The next item, action items. Personnel.
Personnel items. Recommend that the board approve the personnel schedules as distributed.
Is there?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Boyd, second by Ms. Pomeroy to approve the personnel items. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Ream? Yes. Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mrs. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Kay?
Yes.
Ms. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Okay. Compensation structure for teachers. We've been talking about this for a while now. 3 months, okay?
Well, I recommend that the school board approve the revised tiered compensation structure as shown for teachers whose class sizes exceed the maximum 150, 200 threshold.
May I have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Holmes. Second by Ms. Ream. Any discussion? All.
Just that this has been, we have discussed this, we have reviewed this, we have reviewed other plans that had similar things. This was not done in any kind of a cavalier manner. It was done with our teachers in mind.
And I would just like to say that going forward, looking at our operating budget for next year, I mean, that's where this comes into our operating budget. We need to get our operating budget fully funded by the city council so that we can hire enough teachers so that we don't have teachers teaching overloaded schedules like we are this year.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Just one more. I mean, like, we've said this at past meetings, but there are, I believe, 14 teachers that fall under this. 15 teachers that are teaching over the recommended caseload. So this is not just 1 or 2 teachers. So we definitely need the budget to fix this.
Okay. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Ayes have it. Okay, the next item, we have the approval of the school division operating budget and special budgets for 2019 through 20, and the capital improvements plan and budgets for 2020 through 24.
Recommend that the 2019-20 operating budget and special grants budgets be approved as presented in the amounts of $47,974,568 and $5,596,277. At this time, along with the capital improvements plan and budgets for 2020 to 24, and that these budgets be forwarded to City Council.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Boyd. Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Holmes. I do have a statement about the budget because I'm tired. I am so tired about every year at this point, every budget that has come before me in over 20 years, it's the same thing over and over again. This budget has a 5%
Salary increase.
for our teachers. And if we can't get this budget approved, I am lost. I am lost for what we're going to do. We have, we sit here and we talk about what surrounding counties are going to do for calendars, for different things. We know that they are increasing their teachers' salary. And if we're not competitive, we shouldn't be talking about expansion. We shouldn't be talking about children being happy. We have to talk about how we're going to get through day after day without adequate teachers. I'm talking excellent teachers. Fredericksburg has always had excellent teachers. And to think that we could lose them to surrounding counties over, I look at me. If you really think about you, and you know that the job next door is going to hire you at 5% more, what do you do? What are you going to do? It's just logic. And I just can't hear anymore that we can't give our teachers a decent raise. I'm just done at this point. I don't know what else to do. I'm really concerned. I'm concerned that the next item on the budget has to do with having to hire people. That we don't have, our budgets, we don't get the fun stuff. We don't get to hear about the new programs we want, or the science lab, that would be great, or STEM, or other. Our money always goes to the same thing. So if you look at the historical budget increases, 1 year we got 1%. This is the first year, it's under 10%. I believe it's a 7% increase. And I really don't know how we're going to move forward without this budget being approved. And I'm going to stop talking so you guys can.
Well, yeah, I'm encouraged, even energized to see the citizens come out and support a new school. It gives me renewed hope. But this is, and not necessarily a but, the fight is really about budget.
Yep.
And you said 25 years. For 12 years, we have put and said that our students are the most important citizens in our community.
Mm-hmm.
They're important. Schools are the center of our community. This is not new for us.
Right.
I've been on the board for 12 years. We have seen we have forecast this long ago. This is not new. We knew we needed new schools. We've been asking for new schools.
Mm-hmm.
But those of us on the board know that what moves the academic needle, what is important to student success, effective teaching is what moves performance. Mm-hmm. And we've been asking for years in our budgets to support programs for teacher morale, to help us increase salaries so that our children can have effective teachers. You can take an old building and put a good teacher in it and move the academic needle.
Yep.
Not so vice versa.
Right.
So we've been doing this, and this is, the wake-up call is not for us. The wake-up call now is that we have an issue where citizens are saying what I've been saying for 12 years, that the quality of education is what defines a city. That's why we're on the school board. Mm-hmm. And where the fight is, I've been on the school board for 12 years, and we've never gotten what we've asked for to do what we need to do for our city, for our children. Never. So, I mean, that's where we need to put the energy, is what we've been asking for and trying to get done for all of these years. And I'm glad to see citizens come out. But, I mean, this is a great issue. We got to get a budget. We have to have teachers. We have to have programs. We have to have all of that for these new schools. We have to have staff to staff the new capacity. And we've been asking for this. And every year we do our homework. Somebody mentioned about planning. We plan. We have reports. We do our due diligence. And every year we ask for something to get the job done. And every year we get cut short.
Yep.
And so here we are, having seen we needed a new building many years before. I mean, we have all kinds of issues. So what we need is continued support from our citizens to show up, to say what we've been saying what I've been saying for 12 years, that our most important asset, our students, our children, and they come first, and that's what we're going to continue to say. So support our budget. I mean, we say this year, I mean, we asked for a new building. We saw all that. So city council says we don't have enough money. Okay, well, let's work with city council and try to get this thing figured out. All along, we've had forums, we've had opportunities for people to give input. So here we are. I'm not saying that, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. My wife, I'm starting to get fired up over here. But you get my point.
I'll give you an amen.
Give me an amen?
Amen.
Okay.
Preach.
Amen.
And I want to make sure that in terms of the numbers, Dr. Melton, because these numbers move, and when you say to me 5% increase, I don't want it to be a 5% increase. Then the health insurance increases. So that 5% is really not 5%. And then if there's a real estate tax increase, then that 5% is really not 5%. I want to know what we have to do to get the teachers, the people that spend the most time with our precious children, a 5% increase. Because we've done 2, we've done 3, but then insurance goes up, and then something else goes up. And I don't know what they see in it.
Well, I mean, even with the compensation plan we're looking at, we do things because we look at that budget. I mean, if we knew we had the support we needed to push a budget through, we certainly would give teachers more than we wouldn't be cutting corners because we know how important that is.
I agree.
So we do it all the time because we know city council never funds what we ask for.
That's true.
And so we end up cutting and trying to do the best we can. Now we have some citizens, maybe we ought to ask for the moon. I mean,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think we have been we have been conservative in what we've been asking. Last year's budget started at 1.2 million. We pared it down to 850,000 before it went to city council, and we ended up with 500,000. So that was last year. I mean, we have the numbers in front of us for what we've gotten in years past. 2016, 2017, we had a 0.54% increase. And one of the things Ms. Kay always says when we're getting our budget is that she wants to hear from our staff, what do you need? Not what do you think you might get, but what do you need? What do you need for new programs? What do you need for new initiatives? What do you need to be innovative? Not what could we get. And I feel like what we've asked from City Council this time in working with them cooperatively is that we have asked for what we thought we could get, which is the Lafayette expansion. And I don't think that's what we need. And I don't think it's what makes sense.
Yeah. But,
I'd like to add,
well taken.
I'd like to add on to that in that I don't think we're just asking for what we think we can get. I think we're working within what we have and working together as part of the city to get us to where we need to be. nobody is taking a new school off the table.
Right.
That's still, what we have approved is a plan. What we're asking for our budget is what we need this year, and we're moving forward. So
Absolutely.
I think that's very important, and it's very important to note that we've got to get the budget before we can focus on
Thank you.
other things. It does us no good to have space for 10 students per classroom if we can only staff it to 26. So there are things that we need to set priorities on, and I think that's what we've done.
I agree. Any other comments? So, Dr. Melton, you hear that we're really, really, we don't want you coming back saying anything other than what we're asking for. And sometimes I don't want to be at work and get that call.
This is your budget now, but I would like to address, Ms. Kay, what you asked about teacher salaries, and I want the board to understand again that our budget request includes the health insurance increase to be covered by the board, not
Thank
by
you.
the employee.
Thank you.
So it's a 5% increase beginning July 1 for staff.
And I don't want any backup plans if we don't get the money. What we need to do is plan
We don't
what
get
we're
the
going to
money, I
do
expect
if we
to see
don't
all
get the
these
money.
citizens on city councils.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. We need you. There are 19 positions? 19 positions in this budget. So we don't want to hear that we have to cut out some of these positions, because what normally happens by November, we get, oh, we're short and we got to hire somebody and it's not in the budget. And we just can't do that this year. This is a critical point for us. And we have got to get because believe it or not, I've been here long enough to know that some of the issues that I heard about tonight stem from the fact that our budgets were not funded adequately in the past. And we're just saying at this point, enough is enough. We have to have the funding. And I'll let it go until next time. Okay? All right, so I'm going to call for the, do you have anything to say? Anything else?
So this budget that we're voting on tonight is the operating budget and the capital budget all together. So we're voting for both of them together.
I didn't even go through, I was so excited to see 5% for teachers. I didn't even look at the
I know,
capital budget in detail.
It is for
But, yeah, but
can
it's
look
the
at it.
operating.
Right,
capital
no, I know.
It's here.
Because I'm, of course, completely behind the operating budget and, you know, the teacher raises and teacher retention is my, you know, what I'm on school board for. But the capital budget with the expansion for Lafayette,
That's not in this budget.
Okay.
Well, that
No,
is
that's
in
not in
the,
the budget.
It is.
It
that's
is?
in the capital.
It is.
Yeah.
It's in this budget?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Why did we put it in the budget?
Because it's in the capital.
Okay, so wait a minute, help me understand. If city council hasn't voted, why do we have it in the budget?
Because we're presenting it to them.
Okay.
We're planning.
Okay, based on the fact the city council came to us wanting support for the expansion, which is what this board agreed to do, but I'm not sure we should put it in the budget yet until we know what city council's going to do. I know, we voted to support them, right?
No, you voted on that plan.
Oh.
So what we could do now is say that we would like to amend our budget to put the new school in there, or to put something in there so that we open up discussion again, or.
Well, I'm not willing to put the school in yet.
And I don't, again, we've worked really cooperatively with city council. We've met with city council as full board and full city council. We've had a working group that has met with them. And, it really wasn't until recently that the plan changed, because city council told us they didn't have the money. In a spirit of cooperation, you know, we said, okay, well, then we'll do the lose expansion for right now.
Oh, I'm in
because,
favor of the lose expansion.
well, I think that that's the
But
issue is that the lose expansion, what we've heard tonight, the lose expansion will be outgrown as soon as it's finished.
Oh, but I understand, but you're saying that we're not going to come back with another plan?
No, I'm saying maybe we do. Maybe
Yeah,
we do
I
have
mean,
another
I
plan.
don't see why we can't
think
come
that
back with another
At this
plan.
point, you know, we've heard a lot of feedback, and that I'm in full support of us looking at another plan.
Well, I just want to point out that, and it was pointed out by one of the citizens tonight, that Mosley's initial recommendation was for a new school and the lose expansion.
Thank you. That's what I heard too.
And that is part of our current plan, which we will continue to reevaluate. We will continue to work with the city and get what is needed for our students.
Well, again, this is where I'm confused, because we agreed to support the lose plan, but city council has not voted.
Right.
And I would be more than happy to accept it. I mean, what if they vote on something else? And we've got the lose plan in when it was our discussion in the working group to do the lose plan.
At that point, we would have
So-
to amend the budget.
We would, if we vote on the budget tonight?
You're gonna have a joint meeting with city council that you can bring this up again.
Yeah, if they approve the loose plan, then I'm willing to vote on it in the budget. But we were expecting them to vote on it the other night, so I
They
would,
tabled it until March 12th.
so,
They tabled the plan, but they haven't even been presented a budget.
Right.
right, that's
That's what
why
we're
I'm
voting
focused.
on
I'm
tonight.
focused on the operating budget only, not the capital improvement. So do you want to table the capital improvement?
You have to give them both by law by April 1.
So if we vote on it without the lose plan, then we have to come back and put the lose plan back in?
You would have to amend your budget at a later date to change your capital improvements budget, yes.
And
But
you
you
risk-
have to submit to them by April 1 your budget, which is your operating and your capital.
So, but
You run the risk
then
of
we run
getting
the risk of not getting anything if we don't have anything in the capital improvements plan.
What would keep us from asking for this and then meeting with city council and saying, okay, so we have this much approved, can we now look at other plans and what we be able to do that would perhaps not be as, like, we can't get a new school right now. What I'm hearing is there's just not the money for us to get a new school right now. Is there some plan that we could put in place as a place, you know, to get us through till we can get a new school, if that's the best
Well,
plan?
I
Okay,
think that
but-
is what we have done.
Yeah, that's,
That
yeah.
is what we have done.
What-
It's a working plan.
Well, what I'm expecting this board to do is, after the budget is approved, to have a full-blown work session on expansion at a later date. My focus, or our focus on this agenda, really.
As long as we have that
The
meeting.
teachers are my priority, and our priority on this budget to get this approved comes with this increase for them. So I would hope that we could approve the budget tonight. I am a little concerned that council hasn't approved the lose plan. And I am concerned if we don't have anything in the capital improvements plan. And it seems that the budget that's being presented is probably our best option for now. But, we will be coming back. What is your
As we have the
pleasure?
understanding that we're coming back to look at it.
Elizabeth, you have anything you want to add?
I was just wondering if we if we did approve this and we did want to amend it later, is that a possibility to do that?
Yes, usually you have to amend your budget in June anyway, after all the state final figures come in, and after the city has determined what their share is going to be. You always have come back and amended your budget.
Because I feel like I don't want to make a decision that's hasty. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of unknowns out there about the way to move forward with the capital improvement, with the school expansion. I feel like as we know more, we can make decisions that best serve everyone.
and I feel like I don't want to make a decision that's
And I think that always
cuts
has-
anything out.
That's always been the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that in the plan that we approved,
Right.
there's room in there to do that.
Absolutely. That I do know. Yes, yes. But yeah.
The plan that we approved has the new school in 2034.
It's a plan, right? I mean, and we revisit, we
And last
we
year's had
review it
new
every
school.
year.
Right. I mean, so like last year's plan had the new school, and
Right.
this year's plan has the new school in, the mid-2030s. So I guess it just seems like, why do we have these plans if they don't, if they're constantly changing? Like,
Well,
Because you have to plan in
Yeah.
order to have it in the future, right? And we have to know and be able to communicate not only with the public, but with city council and others, what it is we feel we're going to need. And there is a give and take in that as you go
Right.
forward. And we hopefully will continue the relationship we have with city council and continue to work on ways in which we might be able to fund a new school. And as we do that, we can then reintroduce it into the plan. We also, as Janet said, I mean, there are things that we can do now to overcome some of the obstacles with overcrowding in the very near term, which might give us a little more time than we initially had wanted. So it changes.
Yeah.
Things are constant.
I think we're,
I would-
I think we're right where we need to be.
I agree. And I would want to give staff an opportunity to really present to this board, with all considerations embedded, and that we have a full-blown discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a new school. We know that.
But I do
But
want
we
to
have-
remind you that you always have a joint work session with city council to discuss the entire budget. That would be your opportunity to talk with them at a deep level, what you want to talk about in terms of capital improvements budget as well as your operating budget.
so my question is, if we approve this budget tonight, are we saying to city council that
This is our recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
This is your request.
okay, so at this point, so that we're all on the same page, I want to know exactly what is in this budget. So that because then I don't want to get a call tomorrow and find out that there was something else in the budget that we didn't know about. So can you briefly summarize for us all what's in the operating budget? The total, I know that it's 5% teacher increase, 19 positions. Was there a health insurance increase?
Yes.
Am I missing something?
I think that highlights the budget. It's pretty much as it was submitted to you last year. There are no new programs,
Yeah.
Our new positions.
but a lot of new positions just to address the large class sizes that we have. And though we heard a lot of people talk about elementary class sizes, I want to remind you that you have 75 sections at the high school that have
30.
more than 26 kids, and I forget how many, there are quite a few that have more than 30 students, in the middle school as well. So the 19 positions, and then you have the 16, 15 teachers are teaching beyond their teaching load as mandated by the state, that, oh, by the way, you're having to pay anyway.
Okay, so for capital improvements, we have Luz. What else?
Would you like me to read them off?
It's in your
It's in the document.
Yeah, but it's all the way in the back, and that, once you,
It's
it's
3 school buses,
3 school buses.
computer technology,
Com-
carpet roof repairs, equipment replacement, new bus lot lease, James Minot track reconditioning, Lose Edition, A&E, learning cottages, 3 learning cottages, facilities improvement to the JM Library, and the Walker Grant Annex renovation upgrade.
Okay.
So just to emphasize what she just read, what we are approving tonight in the capital improvements request is the A&E study for the Luz expansion. We are not approving to actually do it. That's,
No,
or we're not requesting the money
That's
to
what-
actually build it.
Thank
Exactly.
you, thank
All
you,
you're
thank
approving
you,
this year
okay.
is the architectural and engineering fees
Yes.
for an expansion.
Right, that's different, thank
We
you.
need to expand it anyway.
Right, according to.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Lafayette was built to be expanded, and the core facilities were built to handle the expansion. And that was 15 years ago,
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, my point is that we are where we need to be.
I agree.
Because we are working with city council on a way forward. We know we need a new school, but we also have an energized citizenry, and we have the opportunity to not only look at facilities expansion, but to help folks understand the core of what instruction is all about and academic success and getting to those programs and those teachers that we really need. It just took the building to get us there. So I really think we're okay, because now city council has gotten a wake-up call, and we can move forward in a way that makes sense so that we can really have a quality education system here
Okay.
in Fredericksburg.
Okay, you're making me feel better.
Okay.
All right.
We have to look at what's best for our students, and we have to support
Absolutely.
that. City council has to look at what's best for the city, and we need to work with them in order to do that. And together, we can
If-
come
if
up with
though
the best
we-
solution.
Sorry.
I agree.
I agree with what you just said, but if we know what's best for our students, if there are these, I guess I still just have a lot of questions about the Luz expansion. And I do trust that Mosley is very good at looking at those common spaces and looking at things like the clinic and those, and that usually once we like start the process with them, like when they did the Walker Grant Center here, they met with teachers, they met with staff, they met with administrators, and they asked what, and city planning, like what do you need? What will this look like? So not all of those things are done. They might not be in the plan yet. I would hope that, like in this process, that all of those things would get looked at. But I would also like to say that if our job is to do what's best for students, I don't know that the Luz expansion is what's best for students.
What's best for students is getting the best teachers.
I agree.
I mean, but I think what Mr. Bailey is saying is, you're right. What's best for students is to get the best teachers and to retain the best teachers. We need a budget, and we need to look at this expansion. So if we vote for this tonight, I'm fine with that, as long as we are going to revisit this with city council in the very near future. If this is what we need to do to get this budget over to them, but I want city council to understand that our recommendation would be for us to have a new school. That was the recommendation. We are doing this because this is what we can afford now.
Yeah.
Because
I
that's
think-
what you've told us you can afford
Well,
now.
I can go back to the fact that city council understood that when we gave them the property for the police department. That was the deal. So, and we talked about that a couple of months ago, and I was in the presence of a city council member, was elated that it was agreed, and we talked about it. But, so I don't think it's off the table. I didn't get the sense that city council was saying no at all. We just have to help them locate the funds, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion. But are there any other discussions about our budget? Because I'm excited, you've gotten me excited that we're going to get teachers this raise, and they're going to stay, and then we're going to be done with that, and then we can come back together and talk about expansion. But I mean, I'm taking baby steps here because we've had roadblocks every year about this budget.
I am in complete support of the budget and the raises, the operating budget and the raises that are included in that budget. I think that is vital to keeping our teachers here and to recruiting the best teachers that we are able to recruit.
Thank you, Ms. Pomeroy.
That being said, I do think that the building culture is also important to teacher retention.
Of course.
And an elementary school of 1,200 plus kids is going to be not the best practice for teacher retention.
And I think we will address that. Yep. And I do have faith in our staff. If I didn't, I'd be asking for new ones. So they will come back to give us a plan that's going to work for our children and our teachers. Can I call for the vote now? Because there was a motion that was passed.
Not only am I a reverend, I'm a teacher too.
I-
So So
That's
if you want to
true.
know how a teacher feels, you can ask me.
Okay, I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? And the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay. At this time, it is 9 o'clock, and we approved the motion to table the agenda for the next meeting. I will, at this point, ask if there's anyone who has anything to say for good of the order. Somebody did.
I mean,
Yeah, you.
I've kind of said what I was going
I
to
know.
say in the order, which was that,
Yeah.
you know, I want to go on record that school board's been working cooperatively with city council on the expansion plan. Until recently, the new school was the plan because it's the best plan for our students. City council said they didn't have the money for the new school and a new school would create too high a debt burden. In good faith, I voted to expand Luz at this time. I hope that city council will prioritize our children and approve the new school as soon as it is feasible. I will add to that I hope that during our work sessions, we can come up with a better solution.
And we had another?
Yeah, I just wanted to make one comment, just for everybody's awareness. One of the items that was on the agenda for later was the school calendar, and I know how important that is to everybody now, you know, that we are proposing to start early. We are going with the draft calendar that we had previously presented and is available on the website. If we are still waiting on the bill to be signed by the governor, but we are anticipating that. I just, because we didn't actually present it here tonight, you can see, you have access to that calendar. We will be presenting and voting on it in April. So I just wanted everybody to know.
So right now, it looks like we will be starting on August 12th if the governor signs the bill. There's no reason, we don't anticipate that he wouldn't.
Okay.
And one more thing, I just wanted to say congratulations to you. You were recognized at Hugh Mercer for the
Oh,
Black
bless
History
your
Assembly.
heart. Oh, thank you.
Yes, that was
Thank you.
well-deserved honor.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, also, this has been one of the most energizing meetings we've had in a long time. And I want to thank the citizens and encourage them to continue to come to our school board meetings where we can see
Absolutely.
true democracy at work.
Absolutely. Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Holmes, second by Ms. Pomeroy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it.